All right, let's jump into this deep dive all about Ethereum. It's been making headlines.
Yes.
Ether broke $4,000 for the first time since March.
Big milestone.
Yeah, so we've got these articles from Cointelegraph and Decrypt
Okay.
to kind of help us unpack what's going on with this surge and maybe even see if there's a connection to Donald Trump's re-election.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff. So Cointelegraph reports Ether is up 2.8% for the day, 10.7% for the week.
Wow.
And it's climbed above its 200-day moving average. Now, I know for some people that sounds like a foreign language.
Sure.
But can you tell us what does breaking above that average actually tell us?
Yeah. So think of that 200-day moving average as like a trend line. So when the price is consistently above it, like it is now, it suggests that the market sentiment is shifting, from bearish or neutral to bullish.
Okay.
It's kind of like a signal flare, going off.
I see.
That catches the attention of traders and investors.
So it gets people excited.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Cointelegraph pointed out this surge really took off on November 6th, the same day Trump won the election.
Interesting.
Total coincidence? Or could there be a connection?
Well, we can't say for sure that one caused the other.
Yeah.
But some analysts suggest that Trump's stance on cryptocurrency might be playing a role.
Yeah.
Correlation doesn't equal causation.
Right.
But the market often reacts to these perceived changes in the political landscape.
For sure. It makes you wonder how much politics really does actually play into market trends. Speaking of influences, the Decrypt article highlights another development. Record-breaking inflows into Ethereum ETFs.
Huge.
Over $428 million on December 5th alone.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of faith in Ethereum's future.
Exactly. What does this surge in ETF investment tell us?
Well, I think it really underscores that growing confidence in Ethereum's future. Think of ETFs like this. They act as gateways for traditional investors who might be hesitant to directly invest in crypto.
Okay.
So this influx of funds suggests that Ethereum is being taken more seriously as a legitimate asset class.
That makes sense. Especially since Decrypt points out that Ethereum has been lagging behind Bitcoin and Solana for most of the year.
For sure.
This suggests it might be catching up.
Yeah, looks like it.
But Cointelegraph also mentioned something about Layer 2 scaling networks.
Uh-oh.
Causing a 99% collapse in Ethereum's base layer revenue. That sounds kind of scary.
It does sound scary.
Yeah.
What is going on there?
So let's clarify what that actually means. So these layer 2 networks are like building express lanes on top of the existing Ethereum highway.
Okay.
They process transactions off of the main chain, making things faster and cheaper.
Okay.
Now, this initially led to a drop in revenue for the main Ethereum network because fewer transactions were happening there.
So instead of everyone paying tolls on the main highway, they're taking the faster, cheaper express lanes.
Exactly.
Okay. But if these layer 2 networks are so great, were those concerns about Ethereum dying, were they justified?
Not really. It's more like Ethereum evolving. Everyone was concerned about high gas fees and slow transaction speeds.
Right. Layer 2 networks address that.
Okay.
Plus, data shows that Ethereum's fees have been rebounding since September. What we're seeing is a shift in how the ecosystem functions, not a decline.
So it's less about losing ground and more about adapting
Exactly.
to handle increased usage.
Right.
Okay. So how does that work in practice? How do these two systems kind of work together?
So you have your main Ethereum network, that's the foundation.
Yeah.
Then you have these layer 2 networks built on top, almost like adding rooms onto a house.
Yeah.
They all work together to create a more functional and robust ecosystem.
Gotcha. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So this revenue shift does still have to be addressed though, right?
Right.
Cointelegraph mentioned something about a proposed solution by this Ethereum researcher, Justin Drake, adding a native sequencer to layer 1.
Okay.
What does that mean?
So it gets a little technical.
Yeah.
But imagine this. Instead of having separate toll booths on each of those express lanes,
Okay.
a native sequencer acts like a central traffic control system. It manages the order of transactions across all lanes, creating a more streamlined and efficient flow.
I see.
This could give Ethereum more control over how layer 2 transactions are processed and potentially generate some new revenue streams.
So it's about optimizing the entire network, not just the main chain.
Exactly. And this kind of innovation is key for Ethereum to remain competitive and scale effectively as more users and applications come on board.
This is really insightful. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From Ether's price surge and potential political ties to the rise of ETFs and the complexities of layer 2 networks. It's clear there's a lot happening in the world of Ethereum.
A lot happening. And this whole conversation about layer 2 networks brings up a point from the Cointelegraph article I found pretty interesting.
Okay.
Apparently, this whole rise of layer 2 solutions sparked a pretty big debate within the Ethereum community. Even some fear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because, Ethereum's original design relied on these transaction fees to incentivize the miners, the whole proof of work concept.
Right.
But if everyone is suddenly moving to these faster, cheaper layer 2 solutions, what happens to that core revenue model?
Exactly. Some people argue that if layer 2 really took over, Ethereum's base layer would become irrelevant.
Wow.
Almost like a ghost town. Miners would lose their incentive to secure the network, and then the whole system could unravel.
That sounds like a pretty intense doomsday scenario.
Yeah. It was a scary thought for some people.
Was there any merit to those concerns, though?
Well, it's important to remember that any major shift in technology is going to have its skeptics.
Sure.
And for good reason.
Right.
In this case, though, the concerns about Ethereum's security and decentralization, in this layer 2 dominant world were valid questions that needed to be addressed.
So how did the Ethereum community kind of respond to this challenge? Did they just ignore it?
No, not at all. This is where I think the beauty of the Ethereum ecosystem really shines. Developers, researchers, community members, they all came together to find solutions. And one of the most promising strategies has been the development of rollups.
Rollups. Okay, I like the name. What are rollups?
So imagine you have a bunch of individual packages that need to be shipped.
Okay.
Instead of sending each one separately, you bundle them all together into one big container.
Okay.
That's essentially what rollups do.
Interesting.
They bundle multiple transactions together off-chain.
Okay.
And then submit a single compressed transaction to the Ethereum mainnet.
So it's all about efficiency.
Exactly.
Less data to process, faster transactions, lower fees. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about security, though? Doesn't moving transactions off-chain make them more vulnerable?
That's the really clever part about rollups. So they actually still inherit the security of the Ethereum mainnet, even though the transactions are processed off-chain.
Interesting. How does that work?
So think of it like this. The mainnet is like this big fortress.
Okay.
The rollups are like secure outposts connected to that fortress.
So they benefit from the fortress's protection.
Exactly.
But they operate independently.
Right.
Okay. I see. So it sounds like rollups provide a way to scale the network without having to compromise on security.
Exactly.
Did this innovation put those concerns about Ethereum, dying to rest?
I think rollups have been a game changer, for sure.
Okay.
But you have to remember, technology is always evolving.
Right.
Different types of rollups exist, each with their own strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
So developers are constantly working to improve their efficiency, security, and how well they all work together.
Right. It's an ongoing process.
It is.
And speaking of things changing, we can't forget about the elephant or the donkey, I guess, in the room.
Right.
The Decrypt article mentions Trump's re-election as a potential driver of market sentiment.
Absolutely. The political landscape, particularly when it comes to regulation, can have a huge impact on the crypto market.
For sure.
Trump's stance on crypto has been a bit unpredictable in the past, but his re-election has definitely fueled speculation about potential policy changes that could benefit the industry.
So are investors betting on a more crypto-friendly environment under a second Trump term?
Hard to say for sure, but it's definitely a factor being considered. Remember, the U.S. plays a major role in the global crypto market.
That does.
Any major regulatory shifts here can create ripples worldwide.
That makes sense. And speaking of global impact, let's go back to those record-breaking ETF inflows mentioned in Cointelegraph.
Yeah.
That seems to signal a growing acceptance of crypto, not just from, individuals, but institutions as well.
You're right. ETFs provide a regulated and familiar way for traditional financial institutions to kind of get exposure to crypto without having to directly manage the assets themselves.
Right.
So this surge in investment from these big players, I think, is a strong indicator that they're starting to take Ethereum seriously.
It's amazing to see how far Ethereum has come.
It is.
From a relatively niche technology
to
a potential mainstream financial instrument. It's a pretty remarkable journey.
Really is.
But while it has made impressive gains, Decrypt also mentions, it's been trailing behind Bitcoin and Solana for much of the year.
Right. Bitcoin being the original cryptocurrency.
Of course.
It still holds the top spot in terms of market dominance.
Right.
And Solana, with its emphasis on speed and low transaction fees, has been gaining a lot of traction.
It has.
So the competition is fierce.
Yeah.
But that's actually a good thing, I think.
Okay.
It forces everyone to up their game, to innovate, and ultimately leads to better solutions for users.
For sure.
So for Ethereum to stay ahead, it needs to constantly evolve and adapt to these changing demands of the market.
So it's a constant race to the top.
In a way. Yeah. But isn't there room for multiple winners in this space?
Yeah. I mean, the world of blockchain technology is so vast and diverse.
It is.
There's definitely space for different platforms with different strengths to coexist and thrive.
For sure.
It's all about finding your niche and delivering value to users.
Right.
So this has been an incredibly enlightening journey so far.
Yeah, it has.
We've delved into the complexities of layer 2 scaling and rollups, examined the impact of political events and institutional investment, and acknowledged this competitive landscape Ethereum operates in.
Right.
But before we wrap up our exploration, there's one final question that both Cointelegraph and Decrypt kind of hinted at.
Okay.
Could Ethereum, with all of its potential and ongoing development, actually surpass Bitcoin as the dominant cryptocurrency? It really is kind of the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Can Ethereum dethrone Bitcoin, the king of crypto?
Yeah, it's like David and Goliath.
Right. But in the world of blockchain.
Yeah, it's a fascinating question to consider. And, one that has analysts and enthusiasts debating endlessly. I think if we really connect this to the bigger picture, there are several key factors that could really influence the outcome.
All right, break it down for me. What are some of those key factors?
Well, first and foremost, adoption is crucial. Bitcoin has that head start.
Right.
It's been around longer.
Yeah.
It has that larger market cap. But Ethereum is gaining ground rapidly. Think of it like this. Bitcoin is often seen as like digital gold, a store of value, whereas Ethereum is more like a platform for building this whole new decentralized financial system.
So it's not just about holding the asset, it's about using it to create and participate in a new kind of economy.
And that leads us to another really crucial factor development.
Okay.
Ethereum has this incredibly vibrant and active developer community that's constantly pushing the boundaries of blockchain technology. Remember Justin Drake and his proposal for a native sequencer?
I do.
That's just one example of the kind of innovation that's happening within the Ethereum ecosystem.
It's like comparing a bustling city to a quiet village, Yeah. Ethereum has this constant influx of new ideas and projects.
Right.
Whereas Bitcoin's development is a bit more measured.
It is. Yeah. And this constant innovation is attracting not only developers, but also users who are looking for more than just a store of value.
Yeah.
They want to be part of something that's evolving, growing. Offering these new possibilities.
Okay, so adoption and development are key.
Right.
What about regulation? We talked earlier about how political events can impact the market.
Yeah, regulation is the wild card in all of this. It's the unpredictable element that could either propel Ethereum forward or hold it back.
Right.
Governments worldwide are still figuring out how to approach cryptocurrencies.
They are.
And their decisions are going to have a major impact on the industry's future.
So is it a race against time for Ethereum to prove its value and its utility?
Yeah.
Before regulators step in with potentially restrictive measures?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
But it's also about demonstrating the real-world benefits of this technology. If Ethereum can showcase its ability to solve problems, create efficiencies, empower individuals, it will be in a much stronger position to gain that mainstream acceptance.
It's like building this bridge to the future.
Yeah.
But making sure that it's strong enough to withstand the storms.
Exactly. And there's another factor that often gets overlooked. The emergence of new technologies.
Oh, right.
This crypto space is constantly evolving.
It is.
New blockchains and platforms are appearing all the time.
Yeah.
Each with its own unique features and advantages.
So even if Ethereum surpasses Bitcoin, there's no guarantee that it'll stay on top forever.
Right. It's a constant race to innovate and adapt.
That's the exciting part, though, right?
It is. It keeps everyone on their toes, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
For sure.
Whether Ethereum ultimately wins or not.
Yeah.
Its impact on the world of finance and technology is undeniable.
It really is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks.
We covered it all.
We've explored the complexities of Ethereum, from its recent price surge and the rise of Layer 2 solutions, to the potential impact of political events and the competitive landscape that it faces. We even dared to ask if it could one day surpass Bitcoin as the dominant cryptocurrency. It's been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
Filled with insights and thought-provoking discussions.
And this is just the beginning. The world of Ethereum is vast and ever-changing. So stay curious, explore, Yeah. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to discover the next big breakthrough in this exciting new frontier.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of blockchain technology.